Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the endtimenews.org, and today is May 15th, 2012. Tensions continue to rise in the Middle East, increasing the chances that a major war will break out sometime in the not-too-distant future. With Turkish officials in the process of requesting that NATO get involved in the Syrian crisis, Israel has deployed troops to its northern border with Lebanon and its southern border as well, just in case the crisis spills over into Israel. The conflict in Syria now spilling over into Lebanon. The Muslim Brotherhood wanting to end a 30-year peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. And Iran is in the process of developing nukes to wipe Israel off the map. Short of all-out war, can it get any worse? Top Turkish general to meet with U.S. brass amid worsening Syrian crisis. Turkish Chief of General Staff General Necdet Özel is slated to meet with his American counterpart Martin Dempsey in Washington on Wednesday, a meeting which comes as continued fighting in Syria undermines hope that a UN ceasefire plan can succeed. The two are widely expected to discuss a possible NATO role in the conflict, an idea which both states have floated amid escalating violence at Turkey's southern border. Turkish Prime Minister Recep Erdogan, who is rumored to have discussed the Syrian issue with Özel during a special 3-hour meeting this weekend, told an Italian newspaper on Monday that he is prepared to ask NATO for a military intervention. Syrian unrest spills into Lebanon for third day. Firing assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades, Lebanese gunmen clash in street battles Monday as sectarian tensions linked to the 14-month-old uprising in Syria bled across the border for a third day. At least 5 people were killed with another 100 wounded in Tripoli, which is Lebanon's second-largest city, since the hostilities began late Saturday. Residents are saying that differences over Syria between the Sunni and the Alawite sects are the root cause of the problem. There are growing fears among residents that the continued violence will draw neighboring countries into the conflict. Now here's another article pertaining to the crisis over there, and this one will give you a bit more understanding. And of course I'll put the links in the bottom so you guys can read the articles for yourselves, but I just wanted to read this one part. Syria is overwhelmingly Sunni, but the country's President Bashar Assad and the ruling elite belong to the minority Alawite sect. The uprising has exacerbated Sunni Alawite tensions in Lebanon, as well as sparking clashes in northern Lebanese city of Tripoli. Now here's an article in the nationaljournal.com. Syria civil escalating violence propels Syria toward a civil war that could destabilize the Middle East and draw in the United States and its allies. Many more wars have resulted from miscalculation than deliberate planning, and mounting blunders in recent weeks have significantly raised the likelihood that violence in Syria will continue to escalate, drawing the United States and its allies ever closer to direct involvement in another bloody conflict. The crisis is already careening towards the one red line that could make direct outside intervention all but inevitable, an all-out civil war that ignites in the heart of the Middle East and threatens to spread along the region's already smoldering ethnic and sectarian divides. The unrest in the Middle East is spreading like wildfire, and like wildfire, it will consume everything in its path if not stopped. Now here's a video by Jewish News 1. More than 60% of Egyptians want Egypt's peace treaty with Israel to be canceled. According to research carried out by the Washington-based Pew Research Center, 61% of Egyptians say their country should annul the 3-decade-old peace agreement which ended a state of war that had existed between the two nations since 1948. The growing dislike for the peace treaty has been reflected in the political positions of Egypt's leading presidential candidates, many of whom have said they would reassess the peace treaty as part of their election campaigns. I'll put a link to the video in the box below. Even though there are internal power struggles taking place in Egypt and Syria between the different political parties and religious sects, it wouldn't take much to unite them against a common foe, Israel. IAEA, Iran hold new talks. Ahmadinejad warns West. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad on Monday directed the West to correct its manners if it wants Iranians to respect it. Meanwhile, International Atomic Energy Agency officials renewed their talks with Iranian envoys aimed at persuading Tehran to allow IAEA experts to visit a suspect site at Parchin military complex. If the West corrects its manners and respects the Iranian people, in return, it will gain the respect of the Iranians, the official IRNA news agency quoted Ahmadinejad as saying in the northeastern city of Kuchan, where he is on a provincial tour. He goes on to say, they should know that the Iranian nation will not retreat a step over its fundamental right. And here's another warning. Ahmadinejad warns Israel to stop trampling upon Palestinian rights. Addressing people in Sarak city in the northeastern portion of Iran, Ahmadinejad blasted Israel's crimes and occupation of the Palestinian territories and said, the Zionists have imposed an atmosphere of insecurity and dictatorship on the Palestinian nation, and they themselves are in tribulation and feel worried and do not feel safe. We tell the Israelis to return the rights of the Palestinian nation, Ahmadinejad said. The Israeli military frequently bombs the Gaza Strip and kills the Palestinian people every day. Israel also has laid an economic siege on the Gaza Strip since June 2007 after Hamas took control of the enclave. The blockade has had a disastrous impact on the humanitarian and economic situation in the Gaza Strip. Some 1.5 million people are being denied their basic rights, including freedom of movement and their rights to appropriate living conditions, work, health, and education. Poverty and unemployment rates stand at approximately 80% and 60% respectively in the Gaza Strip. But what Ahmadinejad didn't say is that the people of Gaza voluntarily elected the terrorist organization Hamas to become their leaders. Hamas's ideology, as well as that of the Iranian president and its religious leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, calls for the total annihilation of the nation of Israel and the deaths of every Jew throughout the world. Now, this article verifies what I was saying. Kill all Jews and annihilate Israel. Iran's Ayatollah lays out legal and religious justification for attack. A website with close ties to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has outlined why it would be acceptable to kill all Jews and annihilate Israel. Conservative site Aleph has published a doctrine detailing why the destruction of the nation and the slaughter of all its people would be legally and morally justified. The doctrine, first reported by WorldNetDaily.com, warned that the chance to remove the corrupting material of Israel must not be lost, and that it would only take 9 minutes to wipe it out. The only way they could possibly wipe it out in 9 minutes would be some of those nukes that Ahmadinejad is trying to develop. Continuing on, and it said it was a jurisprudential justification for Iran's Islamic government to then take the helm. The article was written by Khomeini's strategy specialist, is now being run on most state-owned conservative sites, indicating it has the regime's support. The crux of dossier said Iran would be justified in launching a preemptive strike against Israel because of the threat the Jewish state's leaders are posing against its own nuclear facilities. In addition to this article, and there have been many, several years ago the Iranian leadership made a statement indicating that Iran was pleased with the Jews returning to Israel and wanted the rest of the Jewish population from all over the world to return as well. That way they could be wiped out in a single blow, and there would be no need to hunt them down wherever else they might live. These folks are not thinking about peace with Israel, only its destruction. Unfortunately, the Western nations attempting to bring about a peaceful resolution don't appear to be getting the message. The crisis in the Middle East is not a matter of social, political, or ideological differences, but instead it's a spiritual matter. These events taking place have been foretold by God through the ancient writings of the Bible and are a part of the end-time scenario. Psalms 83, 1 through 8 reads, "Do not keep silent, O God. Do not hold your peace, and do not be still, O God. For behold, your enemies make a tumult, and those who hate you have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, and consult together against your sheltered ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembered. For they have consulted together with one consent. They form a confederacy against you. The tents of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, Moab, and the Hagarites, Jabal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistia, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Assyria also joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot, Selah." Now listen to what Zechariah chapter 12 verses 2 through 3 and 8 and 9 say. "Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples, when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it." Then down in 8, it states, "In that day the Lord will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. The one who is feeble among them in that day shall be like David, and the house of David shall be like God, like the angel of the Lord before them. It shall be in that day I will seek to destroy all nations that come against Jerusalem." Friends, we are living in the last days, and time is getting short. Although no one knows the day or the hour, we will know when it is near, even at the doors. Are you saved? Follow the link and pray the prayer of salvation with a sincere heart, and you will be saved. May God bless you all.